When a government position requires bilingualism, there is a common misconception that it means a complete mastery of English and French. This is not the case. In fact, different positions require different levels of bilingualism. It is the nature of the job and the associated communication tasks that generally determine the required proficiency levels in both official languages. Madam Kuttner, tell us a bit about second language proficiency levels.
Well, in New Brunswick, our second language oral proficiency scale consists of 4 main levels, and these are basic, intermediate, advanced, and superior. At a basic level, a person actually creates in the language. In other words, uses more than simple memorized phrases. It is also known as the survival level, and that has reference to a touristic context. This person is able to ask questions and to request information of a very simple nature. But he or she does use the language, perhaps in a way that is not always correct, but is able to communicate at a basic level. Now at intermediate, the candidate or the person is able to do a lot more than that. This person is able to participate fully in a general conversation and is able to perhaps recount their work history, speak of their current employment, talk about their personal interests, their community, and is also able to offer an opinion on perhaps a subject of interest. Now, the next level is advanced, and at that level, the person has all of the functions that are attributed to the intermediate level, but is able to go further. That person who is considered advanced or has met the requirements for advanced is able to participate quite well in work-related, perhaps formal situations, and also in terms of elaboration, well, that person is able to give a more detailed explanation, make perhaps comments or precisions on certain ideas or opinions. A person at the advanced level is able not only to give an opinion, but also to substantiate that opinion. It's a very functional level. At the same time, at the advanced level, a person does make mistakes, but usually these mistakes would not interfere with the message being given or being intended. At the superior level, however, the person is completely at ease in the language and can participate in any kind of formal or informal situation. In other words, that person has a register of language which can be a very casual, informal level, but could also address a Congress or even negotiate and perhaps as would a lawyer in certain situations. It is the highest level of our scale. Now, you may have also heard of levels with a plus attached to them. Basic plus, intermediate plus, advanced plus. This indicates that the person being interviewed has demonstrated certain capacities, certain competencies at the next level, but is unable to sustain that level. And so the attribution of the plus simply indicates that some of those competencies are there, but not all of them. And that applies to advanced plus equally well, and also to basic plus.
How are the language assessments carried out?
Essentially, they are carried out on the phone. The evaluator will take down some personal information, the name, birth date, simple things, and will explain the process briefly, the evaluation process to the candidate. This is also useful because it gives the candidate an idea of how the evaluator is speaking, and for some people it just reminds them of the language that they are in the process of learning, perhaps. We begin normally with very, very simple questions. Where do you live, perhaps? what is your work? As the person is able to respond to the questions, the evaluator will augment the level of difficulty in a way that the person is encouraged to go further, to give more details, better explanations, and we often use the words why and how to encourage the best performance that the candidate is able to give. And this continues until we have ascertained the level that the candidate can sustain. And then we explore different subjects also during the course of the interview. And as the person goes up the levels, of course, they are expected to address more subjects, often subjects of general interest that are not autobiographical in nature. And then towards the end, when the evaluator has made a decision about what level the performance is at, the best level that the candidate can sustain, then we begin perhaps talk about simpler things, just to relax and to let the candidate know that it's coming to an end and it's gone as it has, in most cases very well. And simply to close by asking them, or if they have a question about the process, and then if it is indeed something that we can answer, we do. And at the end, we simply say, thank you for your time, thank you for your participation. And I would like to assure you that the criteria for evaluations in either language or in any other language are always the same.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.